All right, let's talk about one of the toughest exams on the planet, the JEE main. Today we're going to crack the code, pull back the curtain, and give you a real insider's look at what this exam is all about. Let's dive right in.
So, what's really going on inside this thing? I mean, what makes it one of the most competitive engineering exams in the entire world? It's a question that keeps millions of students and their parents up at night.
So, to find out, we're not just going to talk in abstracts. We are getting our hands dirty. We're dissecting the actual exam papers from January 21st, 2026. Yep, both the morning and the afternoon shifts. The goal here is to uncover the patterns, the real challenges, and of course, the secrets to acing it. Okay, here's our game plan. We'll start with the day's verdict, then we'll have a little subject showdown. After that, we're diving deep inside the problems themselves, and we'll wrap it all up with a winning strategy just for you. Let's get to it.
First things first, what was the buzz? What did the students and experts actually think about the papers on the day? We've gathered all the intel to give you the complete picture.
Now this is where things get interesting. On paper, both shifts were rated moderate overall. But if you talk to the students, the afternoon shift just felt tougher. And you want to know the culprit? It was mathematics. In the morning, it was lengthy but okay. By the afternoon, it had become the toughest section, absolutely packed with long, draining calculations.
That contrast is the perfect setup for our next section. It's time to throw the three core subjects into the ring for a head-to-head showdown and see how they really stacked up.
So first up in the ring, you guessed it, the heavyweight champion of difficulty for the day, mathematics. Seriously, if this subject had a nickname, it would have been the time taker.
The consensus was pretty clear across both shifts. Math was a beast. It wasn't just that the problems were tricky, it's that they demanded these super complex, careful calculations that just ate away at the clock. To win here, you needed some serious speed and stamina, especially in big-ticket areas like calculus, 3D geometry, and algebra.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about physics. Because wow, what a different story. This section wasn't about grinding through calculations. It was more like a direct quiz of your knowledge. We're calling this one the formula test.
You could almost hear a collective sigh of relief from students on this one. The physics paper was rated easy to moderate. Why? Because a huge chunk of the questions were just straight-up applications of core formulas. If you had your formulas memorized for topics like mechanics and current electricity, this section was a golden opportunity to rack up points and fast.
And that brings us to our final contender, chemistry, which for a lot of students was the undisputed score booster of the day. Honestly, this was the section where solid, fundamental preparation paid off big time. It was widely seen as the easiest of the three, with a heavy focus on theory. And here's the kicker. So many questions were pulled directly from the concepts in the NCERT textbooks. If you knew your stuff on topics like chemical bonding, you could just breeze right through this section.
Okay, we've looked at the big picture. Now it's time to zoom in. Let's get our hands on some of the actual problems that students had to face. This is where the rubber really meets the road.
Check this out. It's a classic organic chemistry puzzle. You're given some mystery starting compound A. It goes through two totally different reactions and gives you two different products. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to play detective and figure out what A is.
So, where do you even start with something like this? You've got the end results. The whole key is to reverse engineer the process. You have to ask yourself, what do these chemical changes actually tell me about the original molecule?
Let's break it down. Step 1. The first reaction is hydrogenation. That's a classic move that zaps a double bond and turns it into a single bond, giving us tetraline. Okay, clue number 1. Step 2. We've got hot potassium permanganate. This stuff is a chemical powerhouse. It's an oxidizing agent so strong it literally obliterates the non-aromatic ring, leaving only phthalic acid behind. So you take those two big clues, put them together, and voila! There's only one molecule in the world that fits the bill. 1,2-dihydronaphthalene. It's got the double bond in the second ring that hydrogenation can reduce, and that same ring is the one that gets destroyed by oxidation. Problem solved. And here's a pro tip to file away for later. Think of this kind of strong oxidation as a diagnostic tool. The superstable aromatic ring, that thing is a survivor. It will always be preserved, while the other attached ring gets sacrificed. It's a great rule of thumb to remember.
Now for a little physics. We've got a simple rod hanging nice and level, held up by two strings. But here's the question. If you snip the string on the right, what is the tension in the left string instantly after you cut it?
That one little word, instantly, is the entire key to this problem.
Okay, so to crack this, you have to think about two things happening at once. As you can see, the net force downwards makes the rod's center of mass accelerate down. At the same time, the tension from the remaining string creates a torque, which makes the rod start to rotate. But the real magic is in step 3. For that split second, that one instant, the left end of the rod hasn't moved yet, so its vertical acceleration is 0. You combine all these ideas, solve the equations, and you get this beautiful, clean answer. T equals mg/4.
And this, right here, is a total game changer. For this exact setup, a horizontal rod held at both ends, and you cut one, the tension in the other string is always mg/4. Remembering that shortcut could literally save you minutes on exam day. That's huge.
So we've looked at the subjects, we've dissected the problems, but what does all of this mean for you? Let's boil it all down into a clear, winning strategy.
Here are the 4 biggest takeaways. 1. For math, you have to master time management. Practice those long calculations until they become second nature. 2. For physics, know your formulas inside and out. So many points are just there for the taking. 3. For chemistry, treat the NCERT textbook like it's gospel. Master it. And finally, a really crucial rule change to remember. The numerical section has no choices anymore. You have to be ready to tackle every single question.
So there you have it. We've pulled back the curtain, we've shown you the patterns, the challenges, and the strategies. You've seen what it takes. The only question left to ask is, are you ready to crack the code?